All right, let's see what Andrew's cooking today.
Absolutely. Whether or not we continue to propagate the peaceful transfer of power in a republic absolutely matters.
We don't
And it
have a
sounds like what
republic,
you're saying.
and there's no peaceful transfers of power anymore. I don't know what you're talking about. What peaceful transfers of power are you talking about? Donald Trump gets elected, and they go to California and they start fucking destroying vehicles and burning the fucking town down and starting fucking little small riots everywhere. They go to the ICE facilities of the federal agents and do everything they can fucking do to get them shot or killed, or shoot and kill them themselves. This is not a peaceful transfer of power.
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
I really, really, really don't like internet politics, by the way. If you look at any time throughout history, you could pick any time in the 19th century, this is more peaceful than the 19th century. You could pick any time in the 20th century, the current era is more peaceful than that time. You could look at a whole host of political intrigues that are infinitely more fucked up, except for Donald Trump.
Bro, if people acted like this back in the 20s and shit, all that, no, they would have been shot in the fucking street. Like, nah. You're fucking wrong, dude. They would have approached this way different. America has gotten soft when it comes to these fucking weirdos. They need to be fucking dealt with. You know what I mean? Political violence is fucking unacceptable. It's disgusting.
So then can you tell me why it is that Destiny's running around saying that there has been more protest under this president than any other president in U.S. history?
Protests aren't violence.
Yeah, they do lead to violence. These ones have nonstop. What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that the homicide rate has been cut in half.
Look, dude, like, what was it, 2016? Everybody was all running around saying, punch a Nazi, punch a Nazi, punch a Nazi, right? And then they go and describe who the Nazis are, you know, in their own little fucking retard logic. And then people start running around punching the people they identify as Nazis. Weird. It's almost like the same shit happened to fucking Charlie Kirk. You call everybody a Nazi, and you radicalize a bunch of fucking retards that are on SSRIs and fucking, you know, hormone replacement therapy. And yeah, they end up turning into murderers. That's exactly what happened. And it's going to probably keep happening until we fucking shun this retard-esque society. Like, this shit that's going on is just, it's not cool. It's not okay. And the thing is that we cannot stoop to their level by getting violent, and we won't. They don't understand it. I think that's one of the things that pisses them off more, because it's like, as much as they push and push and push, we don't get violent back. We laugh in their fucking face.
1992, and how many fucks aren't even aware of that?
Do you remember what happened with the BLM riots? Do you remember what happened with the unrest going on?
Damage. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And then Kyle Rittenhouse smoked 3 dudes, and everybody got bored. What the fuck are you talking about?
Again and again and again. When you're saying that there are now peaceful transfers of power, here's what's happening: is mass polarization. The left is not ever.
The 60s and 70s were infinitely
more violent
than this right now.
Yeah, the thing is that's really funny, Connor, is that the left right now is never going to accept a right-wing politician, and the right wing is not ever going to accept the left-wing politician.
That's crazy that he tried to use, like, 1967 that's a weird one, right? So during that, like, little, like, 8-year window of time, there were Vietnam veterans coming back to America and getting assaulted and fucked over, and people throwing paint on them and people fucking with them, you know, calling them pieces of shit because they're over there fighting wars against, you know, innocent people or whatever. Like, dude, I don't know if you know, but they were drafted. They were extracted out of their fucking home under duress and sent to war. And if they didn't go, they would go to prison. So, yeah, how could you get mad at those people for simply, you know, doing the only, you know, that's the only option they fucking had. Come on, man. So, yeah, your argument falls flat on his face, just like it will for probably the rest of this video. The guy sounds like a fucking moron.
Politician, that's where we're at. We don't accept them, and so we don't accept their authority. We don't like their authority, we resist their authority. That's what's been going on for the last 20 years.
Bet $50? I can do like 50 or 20.
On what?
On whether or not the left wing broadly or the right wing broadly will accept a president of the United States from the opposite party.
They don't see his authority as being something that needs to be followed. They see it as authority which needs to be resisted.
Yeah,
At every level, they see it as authority which needs to be resisted, Connor.
Facts.
They see it from, I mean, you can see, go to TikTok and listen to these people.
And via the courts, that's not a problem. That's the way our political...
Dude, even the cops, like, for example, Portland, right? The cops are even refusing it. They're not following they're not doing their job. Violent people are being let go. And the people that are getting assaulted are getting arrested. Like, how many fucking brain cells do you actually need to see that? Come on, now.
It is a fucking problem. Yes, it is. Because once people decide that there's a whole voting cast of or group of people who put others in authority, and their authority is not recognized, we've got a big fucking problem, and their authority is not being recognized.
Okay, 6 Democrats said the other day that if the president disobeys the law and orders them to do something unlawful, then it is their job to refuse the order. This has been labeled largely on social media as a seditious action. Have we seen the United States military rise up and seize Washington, D.C.? Have we seen a rebellion that's deposed Donald Trump? Or is everybody, relatively speaking, following his orders as long as they think they're approximately legal?
Yeah, well, I'm talking about erosion, right? You're talking about a specific event. The thing is that the erosion is happening because neither side concede the authority of the other side. In other words, Donald Trump's not my president is what you'll hear from a leftist a lot more than he is my president. They'll agree that he was elected. They won't agree that his authority is something that they need to actually adhere to. And the problem is that this is...
To the point of illegality or to the point of
chill
protest?
out. Not just to the point of protest. These people will go in, agitate, burn things, destroy things, and then have bail funds ready for themselves.
Yeah, check that out. Shit, too. You know, like George Soros pays these motherfuckers, as well as a bunch of other NGOs, pays these people to protest and fucking act like this. Why do you think they're all wearing a uniform? They look the same. Face masks, all in black. I know I just kind of called myself out, but I'm not fucking Antifa anyway. They all look the same. They are an organization. That's why they were deemed as a terrorist organization. Because they all wear a uniform. They have a fucking, they have an actual ideology. True. Cool. You can call it the ideology, but they have actual, like, pamphlets and, like, textbooks on how to be. I don't know how else you could consider that not a fucking organization. And when it comes to silencing people that are on the other side of your opinion, shit, dude, you guys are a terrorist. You're a terrorist organization, absolutely.
And have powers. They have powers and mechanisms in place and they're going to expand this. This is not contracting. This guy's going to be there for many more years, and the polarization is going to continue. So what happens right now is here's what every side sees from the bird's eye view, right? It's a rush to who gets power and who gets to fucking change the laws to stay in power. That's what every side... Hang on, Connor, just let me finish, bro.
What's actually happening, bro?
No, it is what's happening. You're just fucking blind.
No, it's not. I'll be happy to describe it whenever you're done.
All right, go ahead, Connor. Tell me what's really happening.
Okay, Donald Trump has not been able to pass legislation. He has not, besides the big, beautiful bill, he's not been able to pass shit. Which means that the only thing that he's done is executive orders. Which means the next time that a Democrat gets back in there, the same way that he reversed DACA, the same way that he reversed Remain in Mexico, the same way that he reversed all these things, a Democrat is going to be able to reverse all those same things because they weren't passed via legislation. So, no, like, and by the way, this is all perfectly legal because what he's doing is he's doing random things using the executive branch, and people think they're testing the limits of the authority that's invested in his seat, and they're challenging him in court. That's the way the system is supposed to work. If some dickhead for $20 said, you don't understand force doctrine, I understand force doctrine more than you, dickhead. The society only works, number one, as long as we believe in it, and number two, as long as people are forced or compelled to do it. So, no, I understand that completely, but pretending that we're in this, like, fallen, direct democracy, anarchic shithole on the verge of civil war is fucking code. It's just absolute. Statistically,
it's also what's real cope is when you straw man a position.
Yep.
I didn't say any of those things. Here's what I've said, and I'll be very clear.
You painted that picture pretty vividly.
You're focusing. What we're focusing on right now is erosion, societal erosion.
Well,
And
you also said that we don't live in a republic anymore.
I don't think we do. Not at least the way our founders intended it, not at all. And I think that enfranchisement destroyed a lot of that. And so the thing is that, and we can pull up the original way that people were supposed to vote to notate this. But let's point this out. You're dealing right now with social erosion. And what happens with social erosion? Right now, you're dealing with old school boomers and shit who are still in office. They're dying off, Connor. The old guard's dying off. There is not going to be the Nancy Pelosi's and the kind of this old guard status quo anymore. It's leaving. Instead, you're getting communists who are getting elected in New York. You're getting something different now.
Yep.
Okay. And this different thing that you see is a maxim of polarization. That there is no more room for the center. And the reason for that is because either they get power or we get power is now how we're looking and viewing politics at the national stage. You're talking about systems and mechanics which are in place to assist against this, but they're being eroded, whether you like them or not. And if it's the case that the left can change these laws and Marxists can change laws and amend laws, if they could get an abortion amendment through tomorrow, they would. If they could get an amendment for no more guns tomorrow, they fucking would.
Yep.
If they could amend the Constitution to suit them, they will do it. And so, yes, they can. The problem is, like, you're fucking wrong. They can, yes.
Dude,
they can.
Conservatives are here to preserve and conserve the rights that we have. That's why it's important to be on that side. The other side is about bringing in ideological bullshit from different failed regimes for over the past 100 years. It's never going to work. All it's going to do is kill more people, just like it did, over the past 100 years, with socialism and shit. Like, a lot of motherfuckers died, dude. It was bad. It never works. It doesn't matter, like, in my socialism, no, every socialism is bad. It's fucking terrible.
You think they can eliminate the Second Amendment or the First Amendment?
I think it's very possible that you could have a constitutional convention in our lifetimes where you could have some of these amendments which are being viewed. Yes, I think that that's a full possibility. We've been talking about having another constitutional convention for years. It would not surprise me if the polarization got so bad that other states decided that they wanted to move towards a constitutional convention. It could happen. But this aside, the one thing about this, though, is like, let's just say it doesn't. Let's just say it doesn't. Let's just say that what happens instead is like social populism happens this way. Let's say that there's a bunch of leftists who get together and they're like, look, people hate this mass migration shit. They go ahead and elect into office tons and tons and tons of social fucking progressives who are against mass migration but want their economic policies passed. Okay? Let's just say that that's extremely popular with the electorate. If it becomes very popular with the electorate, yes, they probably can begin to unwind some of these amendments, which would help them with power in the future, Connor, because they've been doing it now. The whole point of enfranchisement was to secure power. That's what it was for.
Okay, so I want to shift the conversation just a little bit. Okay, because what we're saying is probably for the past 30 or 40 minutes or whatever. I'm not trying to be rude here, but I feel like you've just described societies and power blocks. I think if you went to the 1960s and you were describing what was happening in American politics, they would probably describe it similar to the way that you were doing. Same with the 40s, the 20s, the 1880s, the 1860s, the 1840s, the early 19th century. I think they would just describe society almost
at the time that we were having social unrest and civil wars and Marxists were seizing institutions.
Mm-hmm.
Yes! Read the history of the 60s and 70s, the entirety of the war.
Leftists,
the entirety of the Cold War was about prohibiting Marxists from seizing power within the Western world.
But they did. They seized the institutions, didn't they?
No, they didn't.
They did.
No,
yes,
they
did. Yeah,
they did. Black people being in movies is not the same as a Marxist revolution.
Are you saying that all of academia wasn't seized by Marxists? Are you really going to make that claim?
No, was, but great. Hold on, real quick, because
that Hollywood wasn't seized by Marxists.
Real quick, I'm familiar with this history.
Tell me some more fucking lies, bro. Tell me some more bullshit lies. I would like
to highlight this because I'm familiar with this history. Okay,
this guy's a fucking moron.
In the early 20th century was a Marxist. He was a socialist, and he was wondering why that socialism hadn't happened in developed Western economies. They'd only happened in feudal places like China and Russia. And so he's like, well, what the fuck's going on?
It was the stupidity of the people, that's why.
I would like the opportunity to finish. What he realized is
well,
that
you're really good at not letting me the opportunity to finish. I just want to point
I'm
that out.
sorry,
Gotcha,
but you say a lot of things that frustrate me, so my apologies. The thing is,
because he can't control his emotions because he's a little fucking beta male little bitch. Yeah, I said it. I don't care.
he realized, like, oh, well, law enforcement, the military, the political class, the industrial class, pop culture, these are all forces that are contradicting a socialist message, and therefore we're not able to get socialism through. So what we need to do is we need to take a left-wing lens, and we need to apply that to the social sciences and to culture, and we need to advocate for more left-wing ideas and propagandize the population. That way, eventually, they're
And it
more
worked.
favorable to socialism and
And it
communism.
worked.
I
Propaganda.
don't think most people talk about decommodification of basic human needs or workers owning the means of production
Oh,
or
man,
any
no.
of the shit. Like,
Dude, why does this guy talk like he's on fucking Vyvanse, like Destiny? Like, why are all these, like, amphetamine-ridden fucking fags on the internet, like, running their mouth all the time? But yeah, it's crazy. I don't get it. Try caffeine. It might actually help you more than, using amphetamines like a goddamn tweaker.
Bro, they do, though. They just do it in a different way. They
they do it with, like, gay race shit.
No, not just with race shit. No, in fact, they do it the opposite way. Oftentimes, they do it through DEI agendas. They do it through egalitarian agendas instead, by convincing one form of the electorate that they're getting fucked by this other form of the electorate. So that electorate needs to go against them. This is very common with what are called color revolutions, which has nothing to do at all with skin color. It has to do with flag color, right? So the idea of a color revolution. And this is how you're trying to pit one side of the electorate against the other. This is why universal suffrage is also a fucking terrible idea, by the way. But what's going on right now, whether you like it or not, Connor, you can't convince me that we're not polarized, because I talk to leftists all fucking day, and I talk to the young kids coming out of college, and I know exactly what they fucking believe. I know exactly what they believe. I know exactly what the poli-sci fucking kids believe.
Yep.
I know exactly what the fucking psychologists who are coming out of universities believe. I know exactly what's going on with these people, because I've talked to thousands and thousands of them across the world. By the way, let me point this last thing out. I'm almost done, Connor. I'm almost done, Connor. I'm almost done.
Okay.
It's not. What's going on is a polarization. You see that the right is swinging with young men. Okay, that's happening, and that's good. Okay, but ultimately, why? They're trying to find a power block that they can be a part of. And it seems like Christian nationalism is a power block that's very appealing to them.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, people have this, like, thing. It's like a primal, instinctive thing to be leaders, right? And when it comes down to the left wing, they all want to be, like, they're communists, everybody's equal, right? Nobody's a leader, no kings, whatever. But realistically, that does nothing. That absolutely does nothing except for hurt people. These people that have this instinct to be a leader, or to at least produce and find value in their existence, those are the people that are going to the right. They're going to the conservative side, because they're like, shit, dude, this amazing experiment called America is being eroded from underneath. They're supplanting our culture with bullshit from all these crazy failed things all over the world, and we don't fucking want it. We want to preserve this great thing we have. America is fucking based. Don't let it die, man. Don't.
That's some sort of shared something, some sort of community, some sort of tying block for people that they don't ordinarily have. And leftists can't provide that.
No.
That's why Christian nationalism has become so popular.
Yep.
They don't provide a sense of community. They're anti-natalist. They don't care about families. They have no shared ethics or virtues. They don't give a shit. They're mostly fucking productively, they're nihilistic. And so because of that, you see young men moving over to the right. That's why. Okay. So ultimately, yes, this is becoming a battle over centralizing power. And you still haven't told me why it would be bad for Christians to have it, which is the whole point of this debate.
No, I've already told you multiple times that I think that we should continue playing the Republican game, and I don't believe that we're as far down the track as you think we are. And by the way, hold on real quick, because this was a few minutes ago. You were saying, like, oh, well, you see all this, like, left-wing thinking and pop culture, and it's going through DEI and CRT and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you know what happened, though? Is because we're largely in a free society in which you're able to express yourself, there was like a draconian 1984-ish
You're not allowed
social
to
media
express
attempt.
yourself.
Hold on, I'm
Stop
not done
fucking
yet. I
lying.
listened to you for several minutes. I would like the
Such
opportunity to
bullshit.
finish my ideas as well.
Yeah, go ahead.
So there was an attempt in the late 2010s to kind of force feed people this progressive bullshit. And what's happened is it's been so thrown up, it's been so rejected by the popular consensus that Donald Trump won twice. And the broad consensus on the left is that, like, oh shit, we have pissed off so many people that we are the least popular we've ever been.
That's actually probably the only like thing that this guy will say that makes any sense. Because yeah, we have rejected your bullshit. We're done with it. We hate it. It's fucking stupid. We're tired of this place rotting because of what these fucking dumb shits are doing.
Despite the fact that Donald Trump is one of the most dumbass, incompetent, bumbling presidents in American history.
That's
so
false.
no, there isn't like this primed Marxist revolution that's on the verge of taking over. It's been solidly kicked in the dick.
This is complete revisionism. Here's what was actually happening. I'll tell you exactly.
You think the left is as relevant
Am
now
I going
as
to be
it
able to
was in
respond? Hold on,
2019?
Connor. Hold on, Connor. Let Andrew talk. Is that
it? Yeah, it's been kicked in the dick, but it's still here. There's still a left wing. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, oh, so you win once and you become complacent? No, you win and you keep fucking winning. You never stop winning. That's how you keep this place going. Do not get complacent. We didn't get complacent because Trump became president. Okay? We're not going to. I think there was an element of that in the first election. You know, people were like, hell yeah. You know, and then fucking Biden's retarded ass being, you know, propped up by like an army of necromancers. Even though he's got fucking stage 5, whatever the fuck that means, prostate cancer, he shouldn't have even been allowed to be president because he would have technically had cancer for longer than 4 years. They would have had done a physical and found that shit. He shouldn't have even been fucking president. He shouldn't have been eligible to run. Anyway.
that okay with you now? The thing is it is revisionism. Here's what the left was actually doing. What they were actually doing is anybody who had any good ideas on the right, they were shutting them up and removing them from fucking any public platform, period.
Facts.
That's what they were doing.
That's how fucking, that's how YouTube and everybody was doing that shit. You know, not to shit on YouTube, everybody was doing it, you know. I think one of the big things that tilted that back towards more, you know, freedom of speech when it comes to the internet space was Elon Musk buying Twitter. No joke. I think that was really a huge, crazy turning point when it comes to social media. They're like, holy shit, these people are fucking tired of being silenced.
And we find out that they were co-opting these other public platforms. They were sending goons over to threaten them if they didn't fucking do it for them. That includes on Facebook, that includes on YouTube, that includes across the fucking board. And so what happened? One of these guys, right, Elon Musk, bought a fucking tech platform. And when he did, he opened it up so that all ideas could come in. And what happened? The left's ideas, they're getting fucking shit on. They're getting their asses kicked. They're getting their asses handed to them. But what happened as a system of this is that these right-wingers went and they started building their own systems, which what the left said, make your own fucking platforms. They tried to shut those down too. Okay?
Yep, Rumble.
That is a bid for power. Do you understand that? Do you understand that when the left says, you're not even allowed to fucking talk, or we will deperson and debank you and throw you out of society for life. And what they say publicly is, if you have those views, I want you broke, I want you bankrupt, I want you destroyed, I want you not able to feed your family.
They want you kirked, is really what they do. They want you kirked. They will stop at nothing. They will keep doing this shit.
They say it publicly, everywhere. I've heard it on public platforms as large as Piers Morgan. Okay? That's what they're fucking doing. That's a bid for power, sir. What that's doing is that's saying, look, you don't get to talk. You don't get to participate. You're fucked. We're in charge, and it's going to be our rules or no rules. Okay? That's it. And they were co-opting that for 20 fucking years. Now the right wing is moving back in, and everybody's in a fucking panic. The status quo people are in a panic. Oh, I'm sorry, are we winning elections again? Are we kicking the shit out of you again? The thing is, though, is that it seems like our ideas are winning in these arenas. So how long before they start the fucking mass deplatformings again? It ain't going to be long. How long before they start depersoning the right? Not long. How long before they start shooting our fucking commentators? Well, that didn't take very long either.
Yep.
The
Rest
thing
in
is
peace, Charlie
that for
Kirk.
you to naively try to fucking tell me that these people are playing within the system and that we're all just playing fucking kumbaya and all the checks and balances are working is fucking naive and it's retarded and it's not what's been happening. It's total revisionism. And on top of that, let me point this last thing out. You still haven't told me what would be bad about Christians being in charge. Not
Right.
one thing.
Okay, yeah. Maybe I could address that. So
What?
So what you just said,
Could've done that
regardless
15
of whether or
minutes
not you'll admit that this is what you just said, is that a country that has freedom of speech and freedom of conscience, private individuals who were barred from private platforms from expressing their conscience, then bought a platform and also created their own platforms that then became economically viable. And this was tolerated within the liberal system and libertarian system because of freedom of conscience, freedom of speech, and the free market. That's what you said. That's
Yeah,
what you
right.
just said. You just said that the entire problem
No.
was corrected via the freedoms that were already enshrined in the
No.
Constitution of the United States. And on top of that, the left wing has to take you seriously because they don't have the ability to deplatform you. I'm sorry, how would they deplatform Rumble right now? How would they deplatform Kick? How would they deplatform Twitter when it's owned by one of the world's richest men? They're
Well,
not
that's a-
capable
thank
of
you for
doing it
proving
because
the
we
point.
live in a free society. And by the way, Andrew,
Boy,
you asked me an important question
that's
at the end
some
of your rant.
rose-colored glasses
You said,
you're looking through
what
there.
would be bad? You said, what would be bad about a Christian taking charge? I would say that if a Christian authoritarian took charge and they didn't believe in free
He said Christian, not Christian authoritarian. He said Christian. Could you stop fucking being stupid?
freedom of conscience and freedom of speech, and they started doing what the left did in the late 2010s, I would view that as just as evil and pernicious as what the left tried to do in the late 10s
What
and
about his
early
question?
20s and failed. You basically just said the left failed.
Okay.
Well, the thing is that their failure at being able to do this has no bearing on what it is that they're attempting to do. This
They're
rose-colored
not
naive,
capable.
the rose-colored naive glasses that you have that Rumble, a Canadian company, can't be shut down via legislation or that they won't is fucking stupid when you consider how many times European nations have passed legislation to stop any form of tech companies giving any sort of platform to what they call the right. They were throwing people in fucking jail because the dog was making a Sieg Heil song. I mean, come on. These fucking people in UK right now are being thrown in fucking jail for publicly praying. Give me
Yeah.
a fucking break.
Fuck the UK. You're not
Okay,
going to find
okay.
me defending
But
that shit.
again, right? These are what we see when secularists are in charge, and the secularists are moving to be in charge, and the atheist nihilists are moving to be in charge. The only thing that you've told me is if Christians get into power and they do things I don't like I don't know, deplatform leftists, then I won't like that.
No.
That's your whole. If that's your whole thing for what is.
That's the thing is that Christians are mainly conservative, and they would not try to shut your voice down. You have freedom of speech. You just don't have freedom of consequences. So if you get roasted on the internet, well, come with a better argument. I think that's pretty essential to the whole thing. That's what it's always supposed to be. Is that like you can say whatever you want. Doesn't mean you can't get. Doesn't mean you won't get roasted. Doesn't mean you won't be held accountable, and be requested to bring facts and logic to your argument. If you have none of those things, then go ahead and look stupid on the internet. Go for it. No one's going to silence you. You will probably get bored and silence yourself.
Is bad, then I would just counter and say, okay, but if they're going to do it to us, and they have been doing it to us, what the fuck are we supposed to do exactly? Except combat it. Hang on, bro. Except combat it the same exact way by seizing the means of power, so that it can't be done to us. And if it's the case that we have to do other authoritarian things like, oh, I don't know, shut down OnlyFans. Who cares? I don't fucking care. Good. Use the authority of the Christian government and shut that shit down and shut the porn sites down too. I don't fucking care. And neither does anybody else. They don't fucking care either.
No, I don't. Really
What? I mean, what? It's just Coomers can't fap, and so fucking Christian nationalism bad? Like, what is the argument here for Christians being...
I actually have a crazy solution to that shit, right? So, you make yourself a high-value human, and you get yourself a significant other, and then, you know what happens? It's crazy. You can have sex with that person instead of paying money for some hoe on the internet to send you pictures of her butthole. Yeah, it's crazy how that works. You actually don't need porn if you just manage to make yourself valuable enough for people to want to date you. Crazy.
In charge, bad. What?
So Christian. Sorry, you gave me a lot. So the First Amendment, freedom of conscience, freedom of speech. I don't have to extend that to pornography to still think that's good. That's not the line that I would die on. I wouldn't, do I support it? Not really. Would it happen?
We're on the same
Maybe,
smoking.
probably not. I think
Fucking,
I think 80% of the population is actually wanting to enshrine. I think that was for fertility aids. Never mind. It was for birth control. 80% wanted to protect the right to birth control. Anyways. The point is no, that technically you could have blasphemy laws, pornography laws, obscenity laws. You could have all that within the liberal United States framework. What I care about specifically is freedom of conscience, the ability to criticize your government, the ability to criticize the status quo, by the way, the ability to criticize religions, ideologies, all that kind of bullshit. That's what I care about. And it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, actually, you know what? Christian nationalism's based. Your Christian nationalism is going to win over Nick's Christian nationalism, and we're not going to have a Christian theocratic benevolent dictator the way that half of Christian nationalists talk about, by the way. They don't want to stop just at pornography. They don't want to stop just at gay people going back in the closet, or you can only be trans as an adult. They don't want to stop at that shit.
Yeah, just like the left doesn't want to stop at, just taking pistols or just taking this. They want to take everything. They do. They incrementally do these. They do these things. They move the Overton window further and further and further, and then out of nowhere, everything's gone. We can't have them. We can't have that. It's fucking disgusting.
They want to resegregate America. They want to recreate the nations of different people. They want to disempower Jews from political power and economic power because they're like a rival competitor.
No,
so you can present this more sanitized version of Christian conservatism or this more sanitized version of Christian nationalism. But the truth is, you don't even know if you're going to win within your own bloc.
Yeah,
Why the fuck would I trust your bloc to seize power when you don't even know if your more sanitized version is?
I don't know where you're coming up with. So Nick Fuentes would not resegregate anything. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. That's not even. That's not his position, bro.
He talks about race realism half the fucking time. What are you talking about?
Do you want me to tell you the position or not?
Sure, I just don't believe what you just said.
Well, that's nice that you don't believe it, but what Fuentes has said over and over again is that there's no hope for that. Right, that's done, and it's been done since the Glass-Steagall Act, right? You think that Fuentes, one of the most popular political commentators, isn't a realist? He is.
Oh my God.
He's a pragmatic realist. He understands these things as well. The thing is that on the one hand, when the guy is talking about race realism or the various things that he's discussing, whether or not that's true and whether or not that is politically pragmatic are two separate questions. When you're talking about what is politically pragmatic, what is political pragmatism, all the things that you just said, that you just stated that you feared from Christian nationalists is exactly what Christians fear from the left. The difference is that the left's already done it to us. Okay, so we have every business to fear it. They've already done the deplatforming, depersoning, shoot us while we're fucking publicly speaking, blockade our fucking events, terrorize our families. They've already done it. And so we have every right to fear when leftists are in power and every right to try to make sure that we're in power instead, because it seems like when we're in power, we're a hell of a lot more fucking benevolent than our enemies are.
Living in the Bay Area is crazy. Bay Area, California. Anyway. So during that whole BLM shit, they had a blackout. I think it was Blackout Friday, right? And they were basically, it was a rolling mob. They moved all over the Bay Area. And they were basically terrorizing houses that had an American flag on it. The flag that represents the country they're in. They were burning people's houses down. They were lighting their cars on fire, stealing shit off their front lawn, breaking their fucking windows, robbing them in the streets. Right-wingers don't do that. Conservatives don't do that. The left is fucking violent. I'll even use this term. I don't even use it, but 10 toes down. The left is fucking violent. Prove me wrong.
And so the thing is, Connor, if that's not the case, then tell me where the fuck all these Christian nationalists who are in charge who are fucking oppressing anybody. Because I haven't seen it once. Where?
hold on. So you want number one? I would cite Fuentes. I don't think like a Christian nationalist has gotten into the Trump administration to the point that they've been able to advocate for anything. And like the strongest,
So you have no
the strongest. Okay, but that doesn't mean shit to
But
me.
you can
like,
definitely
we
look
haven't
at our
done it yet.
opposition.
Why would I
and see
let
what
you
they've
do
done.
it?
You've seen what our opposition has done to us.
And fuck them too, Andrew.
Yeah, but we have every reason. Christian nationalists like Charlie Kirk, people like this, Christian
I don't even think he
populists.
was a Christian nationalist.
He said he was moving towards that side. Matt Walsh says that he's moving towards that side. They're all saying that they're.
Yeah, but
Matt Walsh calls himself a theocratic fascist.
because they know that Fuentes is more like algorithmically relevant. I don't think that has anything to do with
here's
ideology.
the thing. Whether or not this has nothing to do with anything. What I'm telling you is this specifically: Christian populist, Christian nationalists, whether I agree with Fuentes or not on certain issues, has no bearing on the fact that when these guys are saying, "Look at what our fucking enemies do if we don't have power," they're right. And we can demonstrate it over and over and over. And all the things that you fear Christian nationalists are going to do is what are being done to Christian nationalists. That's the whole problem with your argument.
Mhm.
And that's why it's very obvious to me. It's very obvious to me.
Okay, then,
Right?
then let me make you
That you
let me make an
yourself don't
argument.
even understand the proposition of Christian nationalism.
I think I do quite well, actually. But
No.
here's my frustration with exactly what you've just said. Okay,
Oh. Okay.
the left wing tried to and failed with the deplatforming. They said create your own social media companies. The right wing did create their own social media companies. They said, oh well, Twitter's a private company; it can do what it wants. Well, now it's owned by a private individual who believes in freedom of conscience and freedom of speech, and Twitter is doing whatever the fuck it wants. So the
Good.
system in that regard is actually still working quite well.
No, the system is diametrically opposed, trying to shut it down.
I've listened to you yap, and
Go
I
ahead.
feel
Go
like
ahead.
I've been pretty polite. I would like the
Yeah,
opportunity
that's fine.
to
Go ahead,
on
Connor. It's
myself.
fine. It's fair. Go
Okay.
ahead.
So, when it comes to that, I don't think that you're asking for my permission, nor do you need it. But I don't think you're asking for my permission to create a political block of self-interested people who form a political tribe and participate in the system. That's already possible within the liberal system. What you're saying is, and what it sounds like, is that the left wing has done all this vile, evil shit to us. Therefore, if we do vile, evil shit to them, you can't complain.
No, the
But
opposite.
that's not true. I've complained it when they did it, and I'm going to complain it when Christian authoritarians and right-wing authoritarians did it. Last point, and then I promise I'll shut
Yeah,
up.
go ahead.
Here's the fucking thing with the right wing that actually does legitimately piss me off, okay? Y'all have let January 6, 2021 go off of you like water off of a duck's ass. And yet, what was really going on there is a guy who was not able to prove outcome determinative voter fraud, claimed it in half a dozen states, did not prove it in or out of court, tried to stage a political overthrow of
A lot of fucking people really didn't like that, including people on the right. Trump did not tell anybody to do that, by the way. I don't know if you watched the correct clip, but being constantly having the January 6th thing thrown in people's faces is fucking exhausting. It's insufferable. It's fucking stupid. Are you trying to tell me January 6th was bigger than like all these fucking riots where people's houses and fucking cops are being shot at, all this other stuff? That's, you know, January 6th is not worse than all the shit the left has been doing. Like, it's not even close. It's like that whole thing where, you know, you have the scales, right? You put all the shit the left did in the scale, all the shit the right did in the scale. Left went, bleh. Yeah, I know, the camera's reversing everything, but the point is still valid. It's so fucking tilted. It's so fucking tilted. Like, the left are guilty of fucking everything abhorrent we hate about society right now.
Of the Republic of the United States, and you guys act like it's a no big deal. No offense, but 1 million podcasters, including myself, could get shot every single year, and that would not be an existential threat to the Republic of the United States.
No, it
Having
wouldn't.
somebody lie about the way that our republic functions in order to seize and maintain power, that's an existential threat.
Yeah, so the
And that's
couple
coming
things.
from the right, by the way.
Couple-
That's not from the left.
Yeah,
That's not from
couple-
Marxists.
there's some
That's not from
problems with that
Leninists.
argument.
That's not
Okay,
from
got it.
progressives. That's not
Couple-
from blue hairs.
Am I allowed to respond now?
Yes.
Okay, so this is pretty simple, right? What you just got done saying, again, it's just a straw man of the position. Yep. What you said is, Andrew, I'll be just as mad at Christian nationalists for doing the things already done to Christians and Christian nationalists when Christian nationalists get in power and actually do any of those things. But you can't point to any examples of Christian nationalists doing any of these things, or people who could identify themselves as Christians and nationalists. They don't do it, Connor. Hang on, stop, bro. My turn. Connor, calm down. We don't do it. It's already the case. It's already the case that these horrible things are being done. We have every right to believe that if we don't have power, that they'll continue to be done to us. You get to have the rose-colored glasses of saying that you get to talk. You don't have to delete all your fucking content, Connor. You don't have to. It's not necessary for you.
Actually,
right?
That's true.
You don't have to utilize the alternative platforms, Connor. You don't have to do any of these things because you're considered a fucking human worthy of dignity. The left considers us to be fucking animals, barnyard animals who need to be depersoned, deplatformed, whatever they can fucking do to us, they'll do. And
you know, it is crazy. He does raise a good point, though. The left doesn't have to sit there and delete all their VODs. They don't have to do anything like that. The right, yeah, they have to delete a lot of their VODs because they're waiting for someone to take and make a clip and take something out of context or do all this shit. That and leaving your VOD up for a certain amount of time allows the algorithm and the little, you know, mod bots or whatever to go through it and actively or retroactively go and delete the shit or give them some sort of terms of service flag, whatever. Yeah, that's actually a crazy point he just brought up. I didn't even think about that. All my VODs get deleted for that same reason. Yeah.
And they've done it over and over and over and over. And you're going to pretend and sit here and say, oh, the system has worked fine. It hasn't. It hasn't checked any of this shit at all. The only reason that this is even happening with X, and the system's trying to shut that down too. There's Fed spooks, everything else, all over that place, doing everything they can to put political pressure on Elon Musk to shut down speech they don't like.
And actually, Elon Musk just recently hit one of his crazy fucking buttons, and he was just like, oh, by the way, this guy that's, you know, basically saying, oh, Trump's a piece of shit, blah, 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 and all this other shit, out of nowhere, you know, the account's from fucking Bangladesh or, like, the Philippines or something like that. It's like, dude, yeah, I guess in theory somebody could have used a VPN, but why would they use a VPN for a country that has way more restrictive fucking freedom of speech? You know what I'm saying? It makes no fucking sense. It sounds almost like more NGOs are paying people to say shit against the president on fucking social media to attempt to ratio the president and anybody who stands with him, which is crazy work because we see through it. We already knew it, but now we have the receipts. Fuck off.
Just like they did with Facebook and others. And that's going to continue. And so the thing is like, no, the system's not checking any of that. And ultimately, Christians have no fucking reason at all to believe that leftists are going to suddenly become benevolent when one of our great speakers was just shot in the fucking throat for talking.
Yep.
All he did was talk to people. And they shot him in the throat, Connor. And I know that you knew how bad it was because you were the guy who sent me the original video before almost anybody else had it in their hands. So the thing is, man, is like, look, you can play pretend all you want. You can play pretend the system is working and it's checking and balancing, but it's not. The one side has been unfairly treated for 20, 30 fucking years.
Yep.
Okay, and they finally do something about it. They give just this tiniest amount of pushback, and these people are in such fucking panic mode about, oh my God, the fascists are coming to take things over. They're going to destroy our fucking republic. They're going to destroy everything. And it's like, no, I don't think so. I think that they'll get in power, and if they're in power, then our enemies aren't going to be able to fucking continuously destroy us over and over and over and over again, deperson us, right? Debank us, make it so that we can't live, we can't have jobs, we can't do any of these things. And Connor, they've been doing it to us for years. So it's like, we have every incentive to move our people into positions of authority, and there's not a fucking thing that you can say that's going to change any of our minds on that.
Facts. Yeah, that guy was a fucking brainlet. Fucking brainlet.